Welcome everyone to the Match Day -1 press conference with Team Portugal. To be here with the head coach Fernando Santos and the player number 4 Ruben Dias. Desculpa. That's the match number 56 that will happen at Lusail Stadium at 10 p.m. You have 5 languages in translation today, okay? Photographers, I will remind you that today, after 5 minutes, we kindly ask you to leave the room, okay? Translation, I will say this in Portuguese now. Fotógrafos, por favor, hoje eu vou pedir para 2 minutos.
Photographers, I would like to ask you after 5 minutes to please leave the room.
But we are going to start with questions to Ruben, okay?
Boa tarde, Ruben. Bruno Fernandes do Record. Eu perguntava-lhe o que é...
Good afternoon, Ruben. I'd like to know what you have to change in the mentality of the players to improve them, what happened in the group stage, and what is the morale of all the players for this next match. Well, overall, now this is a different stage of a competition, but we have just come from a group phase where we were first. So I don't think there's much which has to be changed. But yes, we must be aware that now this is only one match. We don't have more opportunities for mistakes. And as such, it becomes more and more important to focus and to be better prepared in order for those matches to allow us to move on. But that's it. We are ready and we're going to play tomorrow for a win. Ruben, this is from CNN Portugal. You said that the focus now is to win, to commit less mistakes. So I'd like to know if you have trained, especially now that we're going into the knockout phase, if you have thought about going on to penalty kicks, because Portugal usually suffers a lot and goes all the way. I think we can consider we are ready should it be necessary. This is something that actually since the beginning of the stage, we always were bearing this in mind. This is part of the tournament, and it's also an important moment for which there's a little bit of luck, but we believe that there's a lot more in terms of skills, and that's why this is something that we have, yes, been practicing.
Question in Arabic. My question is to Ruben. How do you expect the match or the game to be tomorrow and the results? Stone told me that Mahrez's, of course, absence of this game is actually a very important loss, especially because of the high importance and level of players in this World Cup.
I think overall we're expecting a very high-level match, especially taking into account the competition we are in and the moment. But above all, we are concentrating on ourselves, and we're very much aware of the fact that the Switzerland team is bringing onto the pitch. But as I said, above all, we need to think about ourselves and what it is that we have to do.
I didn't understand the name you said.
Okay.
Riyad Mahrez. He's not here, my friend. If what?
No, you are without microphone now. Sorry about that. Let's go to the next question.
Boa tarde, Ruben. Francisco Sebe, do jornal O Jogo, aqui.
No meio, Ruben de verde aqui.
Ali. O Ruben já nos últimos jogos fez...
Ruben, in the last match you played with Pepe, with Danilo. You already had played with Antonio Silva. What is it that you changes from one partner to another, and where every time you play with Antonio Silva, who's a younger player, you have to be a leader and to coordinate the defenders? Above all, what changes are small details, because we're all very good, but each one in our own manner. But overall, I believe the way we play amongst ourselves and having Antonio with us, but also to see all the skills he has and how he is able to help us to integrate, and he has done that very, very quickly. And therefore, I would like to say that we are all ready and available should it be necessary to play our game, and those decisions are not up to me. Those decisions are not under my responsibility. All I can do is to be ready and available for whoever I am to play with. That's up to the coach to decide.
Now the time is done. Thank you very much for coming. I will kindly ask you to leave the room. Just wait for the next question, okay? Thank you very much. Here in the middle. Bem no meio aqui.
Sorry, I will
Question in Arabic.
سيد فرناندو برتغال.
Mr. Fernando.
For me, it's for me.
لا ليس لفرناندو طبعا. روبن أريد أن
Ruben,
أسألك على
I would like to ask you
شعبيتك هنا.
about your popularity here in Qatar. Do you feel that there's a lot of Arab supporters that are supporting you? We know that your team and your squad and you personally are quite favored among Arab supporters. What's the message that you would like to send to your Arab supporters here?
Bem, de forma geral, acho que sim, acho que temos.
In overall terms, I do think, yes, we have felt a lot of warmth from the Qatari crowds that have come to the stadia, and even not in the matches, when the opportunities that they have to cross the team, they make us feel very welcome, and it's very important to have the support. This is the support we have received and which is very welcome, and that's the passion they convey for our team. Those are very important moments, actually landmark moments for us, and we hope to be able to count more and more on their support. Good afternoon. We are live for Channel 11. The first two matches were with teams, especially Uruguay, which were very close, many people behind the ball line. What do you expect from Switzerland? Do you expect that Switzerland will play like that? And what do you expect for tomorrow's match? I think we will expect a different match, actually, because of the context of this match, but above all because of what Switzerland can show. They are a team that has many different weapons, and we believe that undoubtedly they will be able to play the match 50-50. That's part of their identity, that's their feature, those are the skills of the players they have, and therefore that's what we think we will see tomorrow on the pitch. Good afternoon, Ruben. Portugal has many players who are still available to go on to the quarterfinals, and they can be excluded. What is the mindset of the players who are risking being kept out for the next match? Well, this question, I'm going to look at it from a personal standpoint, because I believe that's the only thing that makes sense, actually. I think as we are used to playing in this position, and that's the thing that I obviously look at, this is a context which no one wants to be left out. But we also, if we have to be kept out for the best lineup, that's what will happen. That's what I will do. I think at the end of the day, we don't have to really think about this. Obviously, this is something that is in our minds, especially those who have already been sanctioned with a yellow card. But that is just part of the game. And, you know, we have to play with freedom and with a lot of focus, and that's what we always do. Because in any other situation, taking a yellow card like was my case, like I have one, that's not the ideal. But above all, we just have to focus on this match, which is the most important thing, and also with all the players we have who are very intelligent and are very much aware of that moment in the match and what is the importance that holds. I think that's the only path we can have. Ruben, Bruno Andrade from UOL Sport, Brazil. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what is a criticism to Cristiano Ronaldo and what is disrespect towards him. And why is it that in many times in Portugal the criticisms to Ronaldo are confused with disrespect? I actually think you shouldn't ask that question to Ruben Dias, but you should ask it to Cristiano Ronaldo. I'd like to say that at this moment of the tournament, we think that the press overall is supporting the team, supporting the nationals, including Ronaldo and all players. And therefore, I'd just like to make an appeal to the press that as we progress in the competition, instead of creating a divide, let's try to create unity. I think all together, then who knows, we might be able to have greater strength, good energy, and very positive energy for all of us involved.
This is ARD Radio and TV asking to Ruben Dias. The paper, Portugal is the favorite. How do you see the constellation Swiss throughout France at the last European Championship in last year? How do you see the situation? Is there a favorite Portugal or is it even?
I think that's precisely. Eu acho que essa é precisamente a razão pela qual.
I think that's precisely why there's no favorites in this match. I would say that this is a match between two teams with a lot of value, both individual and as a group, and let's see at the end who wins. But I do not think this is a match where we can determine a favorite, especially because of the situation which we are at, which is a knockout stage.
Hi, Ruben. A question in English. There's obviously some very good teams left in the competition, but particularly with your attacking players, with the likes of Ronaldo and Bernardo, Bruno, João Felix, do you think that you're a match for anyone in this competition now?
Well, first of all, I think we're a... Acima de tudo, eu acho que é importante frisar que...
Well, first of all, I think it's important for us to emphasize that we're not a big team just because of the players we have in offense, but because of the players we have in offense, midfield, and defenders. And when we think about the 11, it's even more because of the players that we have also on the bench. Therefore, I think our team is the whole team. I think we have a lot of quality in many different positions, and therefore, I think that is what we have to see and think about.
Thank you very much, Ruben. Now we are going to pass the questions to the head coach, Fernando Santos, okay?
Nasser Khalid, مراسل موقعكم.
Nasser Khalid from Cora. Coach Fernando, reports this morning were talking about the Cristiano Ronaldo deal and his move to the Nasser club in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia. Did you guys talk about his move to that club, or is he just focused on the World Cup, or is there any interference on his focus? And what do you think of your chances for tomorrow?
É mais uma pergunta, mas pronto. Não sei, não falei com ele sobre isso hoje de manhã.
I haven't spoken to him about this. We had a conversation with the players, but I don't really know about this. To be honest, I didn't even know about this. I just heard about this when I arrived here. Someone just told me that a few minutes ago. But that's his decision. That's what he has to deal with, and we are totally on the World Cup and supporting his team, and that's what we spoke about, and that's our focus, and I don't know anything about this other issue. What was the other question, sorry? Oh, well, obviously tomorrow will be a very difficult match, two very strong teams, and this is a round of 16, so it's going to be a tough match, undoubtedly, but Portugal believes it can win. Fernando, good afternoon. I'm sorry, I'm speaking in Portuguese. You do not need the interpretation services. So, Fernando has already told us that you see a match, and after the match happens, and then you go on to the next day. So, therefore, you've had the opportunity of seeing the play against South Korea. And after that match, you told us about the replacement of Ronaldo. And that's something that you didn't know when you spoke to us, where you said that Cristiano Ronaldo said that he used a lot of speed to change him. Did you speak to them of what that could have caused an issue amongst the players? How is all of that being handled? Let me split my answer into two. The first is when I went to the press conference. As you know, when the match ended, I was a flash interview. You were there. I think you were there yourself. And then obviously went straight to the press conference. And what I said, I'll repeat it here again. There on the field, nothing happened. Nothing. So I just heard him discussing with the players of Korea. I didn't hear anything else. Now, the second part of your question, if I see the images, yes, I didn't like it. Not at all. I did not like it. I really didn't like it. And therefore, from that moment onwards, you have people, everything is finished, full stop regarding that issue. And now we have to think about tomorrow's match, and everyone are focused on tomorrow's match. Tomorrow's match, and continuing the question asked by my colleague, so if that was solved in-house and you didn't really like it, do you continue trusting the captain, and will he be the main player against Switzerland? I only decide who's going to be the captain when I reach the stadium. I don't know what the lineup. That's what I've always done, and that's what I'm always going to do. It's going to be the same tomorrow. The other topic is solved. It's solved. We fix that in home, and that's it. Good afternoon, Fernando Santos. I have a question based on everything which the national team has had as an ambition since the beginning of this World Cup with the quality of the players. Do you think that you have to win as you're considered a favourites, and if the two last rounds of 16 when you were taken out and sent home, is that a ghost which might be surrounding the players and all the staff? I think you heard the assistant coach from Switzerland saying they are the favourites. So the Switzerland obviously has all their authority, and they understand that they are favourites, and they have all the capacity to win the match. And I think we also understand that we have the skills to win the match. But this is a match. We're playing 11 against 11, and some players are on the bench. We don't know how long the game will match. So we are going to be fully focused. We believe it is possible. We want to continue here. And the question is if we are now candidates in this stage, if we've become favorites. And I answered that when you've gone to the round at 16, you're just closer and closer to being a favorite, right? Match after match, you're closer to being a favorite. So I think if we are favorite or not, that doesn't matter whatsoever. What matters is this match. We looking if you're a candidate to being a favorite or not, if we have to, we don't have to. We have to all the time. Portugal always has the obligation to win. The team, the staff, everyone has that obligation. So for us, it's very good to feel this. I think for me, for the players, it's very good to feel this pressure. Not only do we want it, we really want to win, and we have the capacity to do that. All the players are totally focused on the win.
After the game, actually, you had time to watch the game of Korea, and I would like to know what we will explore from the Korea's game. And I would like to know whether you were more anxious now, knowing that Portugal can go home. Well, of course, during the group stage, we were preparing and working hard, but now we need to work harder because we might go back home if we do not win. Usually, when we watch the game on video to analyze the strategy of our opponents, what we see in the field of play, sometimes it's different. And when watching the game, I realized that on the first half, Portugal played very well. Had we not conceded a goal, the situation would have been different. We created 5, 6 opportunities to score goals. I think our players had an excellent performance. And, of course, we were penalized because we conceded a goal. On the second half, we reduced our offensiveness. We did not create as many goals opportunities as we did in the first half. And I think the essential now is to think and take stock of the 3 matches that we played during the group stages, and we needed to be completely focused. We needed to be positive, and that for sure will have a positive impact in our team. So the focus now is on winning this game so that we can then move to the next stage. I am Edgar Alencar from TV Globo in Brazil. I would like to ask you about polling that I read on the Portuguese press. And these pollings were about Cristiano Ronaldo being part of the starting 11 or not. And the same happened, for example, in the case of Brazil for Neymar. And what's your reaction to these polls that are made online on Cristiano Ronaldo being part of the starting 11 or not? I do not read this type of information. It's not like a respect, but I'm focused on my team. We only have 3 days to prepare for our match, so we are focusing on training. I'm not paying attention on polls or any other type of this news. What I have always done is that we focus on the immediate match. We are completely focused. I'm not worried whether one information is right, is wrong. Since I started coaching the Portuguese squad, that's my modus operandi. I'm Pedro Queiroz from the Record Radio. Switzerland has changed very little its team. They only made a few changes against Cameroon, for example, including Shaqiri and other key players. So what's your expectation for tomorrow? Do you expect a Swiss squad more offensive or more drawn back? It will not be the first time we'll play against Switzerland, and we know it would be a difficult match. The Swiss squad is a very well-organized squad in the field of play. They have high-quality players. They know very well how they play. They are usually very well synced among their players, and they have always been focused. They have always been goal-oriented. They have always had the same focus, the same objective. And as far as our expectations are concerned, that's the Switzerland we are expecting, a well-organized and disciplined Swiss squad. We do not know in the past game if Shaqiri would be injured or not. We do not know why they decided to keep the same structure, the same goalkeeper. We heard that some of them were ill. But about Brazil, I think based on the games we played against them, they have a little nuance. They would have 2 midfielder. They would sometimes play 2-1, and now it seems that it's 2 one.
Estratégica, apesar de tê-los depois na circulação da bola, normalmente médio baixa.
They usually have a very quick combination,
mas em termos de organização defensiva,
quick passes, but in terms of offensiveness, sometimes they use a 4-4-2, and that's what we expect from the past games. That said, we don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Porque o Salmeiro até joga muito bem com os pés e a equipa sai muito bem de trás, nunca entra na tentação de bater longo. Não é uma equipa, ao contrário,
do not expect them to be more on the backward. I think they will have a more offensive tactic, something similar to what happened with Korea. We do not expect, in other words, to have like a calm game, but a fast game with fast passes. And as I said earlier, I think it's a very well organized squad with key players. We know how they are. We played against Switzerland in the past, and as a Portugal squad, we have always strived to be well organized. Therefore, we'll try to do our best. And we need now to focus on the details so that we can win the match. And as I talked to my team, we needed to fine-tune a few details in order to be better.
No, we don't have translation for Spanish. So Portuguese, Arabic, English is the option.
Okay. Without Portugal, which is your favorite national team at this moment in this World Cup?
Portugal.
Portugal.
Without Portugal?
Portugal.
With the exception of Portugal, my favorite squad is Portugal.
Olá, Fernando Santos, boa tarde. Marco Oliva da Lusa.
Good afternoon.
Marco
Oliva from Lusa.
De Portugal em mundiais, Portugal só
in the past performance of Portugal in the World Cup, you have reached the quarterfinals twice, and in 1966 you reached the third place.
Sente que falta uma presença mais assídua da seleção nas
And
fases
it
mais
seems
avançadas dos mundiais.
that the Portuguese squad haven't reached the final stages. And what do you think there should happen so that Portugal could be one of the best teams in the world? I cannot explain, unfortunately.
Para nós todos os portugueses. Mas depois houve hiato, e esse hiato é que eu acho que houve hiato.
It's true that we reached the third place in 1966, and then we have a long period without reaching the final stage, despite the high quality of our players. It's true that Portugal had a huge hiatus, and we're talking about 20 years of difference if we compare to the World Cup we played in Mexico, for example. And from the 90s forward, Portugal then changed its strategy, and in the last 22 years, we have had a good performance. We took part in the knockout stages. We reached twice the finals. And in Germany, we reached the semifinals. But that's football. And if we look at our history, the history of the World Cup, you can see how many teams reached the final stages, with the exception of Spain, for example. But it goes back to what I said before about the favorite squads. Well, after each new game, if you win the game, you're closer to being a favorite. So we go in crescendo, so to speak, and we need to continue doing what we're doing. Now we have a more likelihood of winning tomorrow and being closer to the final. I am from the Público newspaper. Rafael is a player that in the last 4 years is playing more on the left back. And Portugal now has more mobility. And do you think if you add Leão, that it would help to change the dynamic? Leão has a huge potential. And I think he will have a promising career. But of course, he faces the difficulties of any player that plays in a club like his. He plays more in the left back. And when playing in his club, he has more freedom. But when playing for the national squad, he needs to adapt his game in order to play together with the players from our squad. There are players that excel in their national clubs, but have a different performance in the national squad.
Fernando, Ruben, Francisco, thank you very much you all for coming.
Okay.
Obrigado, boa tarde.